Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 339. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Matt, another week, another Coke product for you to try.
Boom. On the shoulders of victory.
Yes, congratulations to none of us, because we didn't get a Nintendo Direct, but to you, you got not one, but two Cherry Coke Energy.
Yeah, what, third week in a row, Coke tastings for Matt?
I know, I gotta get creative for next week. I gotta figure that out.
I hope that box comes next week.
No, we got a couple weeks, yeah. But hey, maybe. Alright, first sip.
That's a damn fine energy drink.
Damn fine energy indeed. We've got a show this week. We're going to talk about Ted Price interviewing Phil Spencer. We're going to talk about maybe some, definitely some leaks. Or maybe the buttoning up of leaks. Who gets Cyberpunk? You get Cyberpunk. But first, how are you, Matt?
Swell. Another week. No?
Yeah.
Had to unfortunately hear about the news out of Saudi Arabia on Thursday that the WWE is trying to kill off characters.
Really?
Like, just like bury them.
Like who? Who's
Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. They took the belt off of him.
Why?
They give it to Goldberg.
Okay.
So that's where we're at. We don't try to establish new characters. We just give it to old ones. In what was evidently a bad match.
Bray Wyatt, in my recollection, it's kind of... Didn't he go through a transformation where he's carrying around his own head in a bucket or something?
He has his... after doing his thing with the Wyatt family, they were like swampy-ish people. It was a little seemed to do some decent things in his early run. He went away for a bit, and then he came back with this new, like, Mr. Rogers persona, but his alter ego, like his other persona, is the Fiend, and so he refers to them as like different beings. It's kind of creative. He always has his, like, Firefly Funhouse, which is like a Mr. Rogers show. It's like a little snippet they'll put on the screen for like 3 minutes with these little puppets that he voices.
It's pretty good.
It's like cheesy, but it's great. Like all of his stuff from the start of this has been really good. And then they put the belt on him, which I think was an appropriate because everyone was reacting highly to it. And then they just take it away.
Weird.
And it's
You think they're trying to get rid of him, or just try and put the spotlight on Goldberg?
I think they're trying to just put the spotlight on people that fans know, so that way they get good ratings for WrestleMania, because that is April, and there's not been a lot of great building, and you start that stuff with the Royal Rumble. So well, as an official stockholder of the WWE, I am not happy as a shareholder right now.
I forgot that you did that. You got to stop buying stock in companies you actually have stock in, like mental stock in. It's just going to drive you nuts.
It's all right. That's what I do. One day I'll have enough money set aside for a Microsoft one. It's coming.
Baby steps.
It's coming.
Yes.
That's the last one.
You have Sony?
Yeah.
All right. You have hentai.org?
Not yet.
All right. Well,
it's not publicly shared.
In time. Well, I'll tell you what is publicly shared. The celebration of the Nintendo Switch's 3rd anniversary. I'd like to commence. Is that the one that means begin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Our celebration of the Nintendo Switch by saying, hey, Danny. Hey, Scott.
Oh, what's up?
Hey,
friends
out there. For longtime listeners, you'll remember, but maybe some short-time listeners, newer listeners might not remember Danny and Scott, who we became best friends with via Miitomo.
Yeah.
In the line waiting for the Nintendo Switch at a Best Buy, which... swell folks. They're still, one of them, I don't remember which one. One of them's playing The Witcher a whole bunch.
Good.
I forget what the other one's up to. A lot of Pokemon I see on there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Still friends. Never going to see those two again. And at this point, I'm pretty sure my visual memory of them has been replaced with what their Mii's look like.
Yep.
I can vaguely remember what their faces look like.
I don't remember at all.
I remember the shorter one. I don't even know.
The only face I remember is the dumb look that fucking sidewalk sweeper had when he drove by.
Yeah.
And he was like, huh?
Yeah.
I can't get high here.
The cherry fell off of his joint, and yeah. All right, so it's been 3 years of Nintendo Switch this week, so I got some questions for you, man.
All right.
Why do you still love the Nintendo Switch 3 years later?
It's still the only system that like I can travel with, but it's still like a system. Like the Vita, for as great as the Vita is,
Could never dock it.
correct.
You never pop it in there.
And then they never kept the promise of like, hey, we're going to do this AAA game, but you're also going to be able to do it here. And remote play is just not strong enough with it.
Yeah, no.
Especially now when you got the mobile app that works 80 times better.
Yeah, it's sad.
Just got to pair a controller to it, which is like the only like thing. But
yeah, no, I agree. Like the fact that if I want to not be bound to the TV, I don't have to be. But the fact that I can be is really cool. I think that's led to, which we all said for years, but I think that's led to a pretty healthy library for the Switch, where you weren't around for the Wii U 3DS days or even the Wii DS days, but those days of I love this game, but it's only on this. Like Wii and DS, I had both, but I didn't buy I think I had a 3DS before I had a Wii U, and it was just like you ended up having to get both because, well, this game is only on the, you know what I mean? Now it's the Switch. Everything's on Switch. So speaking of the library, what 3 games would you recommend? Someone walks up to you in the street today. You're out hanging out at Walmart, seeing if you can meet new people, new friends, and a new friend walks up to you and says, "Hey, I'm buying a Switch. What games should I buy?" What are the 3 things you tell them to pick up?
Galaxy. Off to a terrible start. Mario.
Super Mario Odyssey.
God.
Yep.
All right.
Why?
We're off to a good start. It's classic Mario, and I think that is one of the. It's a Mario game for everyone because the actual main campaign is not the hardest campaign in the world. Yeah. It's when you want to finish up, get in the
darker moon, and
like that's when a game gets like that Mario next level hard.
Yeah.
And I think there's just a good challenge, and I like the mechanics, and it gets you good to go with like the waggle and the using the motion controls, but not in a too big of a way. I mean, that's why I really like that Galaxy 2. Like, it used the motion stuff in a really cool way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Galaxy, just because it is the right level of game for everyone.
Yeah, all right.
Probably Zelda. I mean, that's just
that's one of the
creme de la creme of Switch games. I know it's not my favorite, but like I understand the appeal, and the
fact that game reminded me how to just play a game and not get so wrapped up in, I don't know, looking up this, finding out that, like it really encouraged you to just explore and get lost in it and learn what the game wanted you to learn. It taught a lot through gameplay and through game systems. So I feel like there's still such a good sense of discovery with that, playing through that game.
And then I think the third game, and I would have to ask, I know I'm a total stranger, but I think the first 2 are cemented, like obvious ones, right? I think my third one, I'll have to ask a question. How often do your friends come over? And if the answer is often, I'll actually say Mario Party over Super Smash Brothers.
You?
Yeah.
Said Mario Party?
Yeah.
You're right.
I've got to think of the other people out there.
Huh.
Like, I don't understand Animal Crossing, but people do. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Well, in a month, that'll change. You'll
sure.
Obviously, Animal Crossing will be the first one you recommend, but yeah, I agree. I think that's it just sucks. Like, I love what they did with this Mario Party, and I kept wondering why they haven't put out new maps for it, because that was such an easy one-up. But then I thought, when's the last time I actually played it? Because when I do have people over, we don't play it. You know? Like, and not because you hate it, just because you kind of play it once and think, oh, yeah.
I think Smash is like, once you play a couple rounds of Smash, you've played Smash. I think Mario Party has enough, like, between the co-op stuff and the different boards and all the different mini games and the way they break them up 3v1, 2v2, all, you know.
Yeah, in different modes. You have that like raft mode where you can go sailing or whatever down the
you have an incredible roster of Smash, but this is the thing: if you don't play Smash a lot, it's gonna take you forever to unlock that roster. Like my game, I don't have the whole roster unlocked.
Yeah,
because I can't bring myself to go through anymore.
You don't want to finish World of Light?
No. The fact. I was done when I only knew there were 2 maps, but then when I heard about a third map,
yeah, that's pretty rough.
So
it was a rough time.
Great game. I'm not dismissing it, but I think I think Mario Party would suit a lot of people differently.
Yeah, it is. It's really it's approachable, and especially with single Joy-Con use, like anyone can understand how the Joy-Con. Well, the other two I said are a little maybe unconventional, but I said Doom.
All right,
just that Doom port that came out last year was not great last year, but after that patch that added Sigil, I feel like that was the easiest way for me to play Sigil, because playing it on PC, there's always something weird.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get it to run, and this was just easy. It's baked in. You click a button and go. I also love the way that the Switch controlled for Doom. I just feel like running Doom on that thing, it was just, out of all the years of playing Doom, like playing it there, it just felt right for some reason. I don't know why. And Ring Fit Adventure was the other one I'd recommend.
That's a good one.
I'm still playing that game. I'm still finding new things. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And, it's then had that other impact outside of the game where, I tell you what, like last night, this is going to sound weird, I got dizzy from having sugar. What the fuck is that? Like, that doesn't happen.
Sugar high.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. Like, that has never happened to me in my entire life. But because I've, like, done Ring Fit for a while, and I've changed my diet, and I'm not eating garbage all the time, and I've reduced sugar out of the diet for so long, like, I had a piece of fucking cake last night, and was that all I had? I don't know. I think I had a banana and a piece of cake. And just the combo of, I was sitting there, like, spinning, like I was drunk. I was like, what is going on? What is this? What is this weird body thing happening? Because Ring Fit Adventure taught me how to eat protein or something.
Yeah.
It's just weird. But also, I think it's a novel game that you're only going to get on the Switch.
I don't know how the longevity of that thing was for most people that ended up buying it, but like Wii Fit sold like bonkers, and people are health conscious, and they want to do different things to make it happen.
Well, it's currently, you can't buy Ring Fit. We don't have in the news, but it's currently sold out because not only was it selling super well, coronavirus happened, and a lot of folks in China who are inside, can't go outside, have been buying it buying it on eBay so they can stay active while indoors. So people here are then buying it and being assholes and ripping people off in China and selling it for like $250, where the MSRP is $80.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It like when I was in Japan, it is when it launched, and I had ordered mine to be delivered to home. But part of me thought, I'll just buy it while I'm here and take it home with. But I didn't feel like packing it and all that bullshit. But I couldn't find it in Japan. Like, it was sold out that whole opening weekend. Everywhere I looked, it was gone, which was like, oh, weird. Okay, cool. But then, even when I got back here in the States, it wasn't super. It was pretty. The first couple weeks, you couldn't find it in a Target. And then I saw it throughout the holidays pretty regularly. And I thought that in January you'd see that stupid New Year's resolution bullshit kick in. But no.
Well, that's good.
The virus got everyone.
Got him. So what was your first one? Which one did you agree with? I forgot.
Breath of the Wild. I think that's, for sure. What is still missing from the library for you? Besides Animal Crossing, because that's not too long away.
A Splatoon game that's easy to play with friends.
Maybe that'll be coming. Nothing else.
I want like a multiplayer shooter.
Yeah.
That I can like hop in, hop out, but there's no like rule.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to like. Do I want like a Halo? You have your social list and then your competitive list.
Would you want Metroid Prime 4 to have a Halo-style multiplayer?
Yes, absolutely.
I'd be okay with that.
I like Splatoon style. Like, that's just such an original thing.
Yeah.
Metroid has the problem of being, like, another first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Splatoon is more unique. Well, one's third-person, but just the way the paint works and the different games revolving around the paint mechanic.
Yeah.
I think Splatoon has a better chance of shining for Nintendo. But, yeah, I don't like all the rules, all the different things, all the different barriers. I don't mind the rolling maps. I actually kind of like that. I learned maps a lot better that way. Yeah. Besides, like Call of Duty, like I still don't know all the maps in Modern Warfare because they're all just kind of there, and you never regularly queue into one.
Yeah, because you have to worry about people. In that, people are voting for what's up next too, right?
Yeah, it's somewhat. Yeah, a little bit. So,
what is that one? You remember that game that was in the last big direct or one of the directs that was like a bunch of people on a plane and shooting shit? Does that make any sense? Huh? No. Boy, oh boy.
A bunch of people on a plane?
I'll find it.
Jumping out?
It was like, it looked like kind of impressive, but it was also like, is this a weird... It was that same direct with Deadly Premonition 2. Rogue Company? Is that it?
That might sound familiar.
I don't know, I have to enter my birth date for verification.
The Deadly Premonition 2...
There's no...
Oh, was that a fall one? For some reason, I'm looping that into E3.
That was the fall direct, yeah. This doesn't have any images. But yeah, Rogue Company. I don't know. Maybe that'll be a shooter for something. I think what I want most out of Nintendo Switch in terms of library is Street Pass, which was such a unique phenomena to the 3DS, but it was so cool. Like the fact that you would get home and you'd have something to do on your system because you were outside with your system. There's no reason why it couldn't work here. That'd be really cool. Yeah. Especially like the neat thing there was like with Animal Crossing, you'd pass people, and then when you boot up the game, you could then go visit their town. Like they would show up in a Street Pass area, and you could go look at their house and walk, or not their town, sorry, it's just their house. You look in their house, and like if somebody's Street Pass had a really cool item from the catalog that you didn't have yet, you could buy it. Things like that. But even just the Street Pass puzzles, like, did you ever see any of those? Because you got it.
I started seeing some of that stuff. I don't think I ever completed one.
Cool.
But yeah.
And well, when you did, like, it would be this really neat, like, rotatable 3D like picture. And everything. It was really cool. Two more. What would you like to see from the software, the actual OS? What's missing? This is an easy one.
Themes.
Yeah, there you go.
Themes. And no, we're not done.
Oh, sorry.
Everything that I freaking want. Like, make a... maybe this isn't UI per se, but, like, Bluetooth would be nice for headphones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did get, like, a Bluetooth adapter headphone thing, so that's nice. That kind of cures that problem for me. But then also, I want, like, chat over the system. I don't want to use an app, but the app doesn't work. Like, Xbox's app is
better at doing it.
Yeah.
Like, we should just talk on the Xbox app instead of the Switch app.
Yeah. Like, you have to be in the game, and then you have to be in a specific part of the game. Like, Splatoon, you had to do, like, local, or not local, but like, you had to do, like, your own private room to then get into the voice room.
Yeah, it was not great.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've updated it. We should look into that, but yeah, it was not a great time. I think I always go back to this, but also stat tracking.
Yeah.
Like, I have that Switch parental controls app, which is kind of working that out for me, but it'd be nice to have that baked into the OS a little bit. How about the next Switch? What do you want next? We saw the Switch Lite last year. Nintendo's financial briefing said no new hardware this year, but when there is new hardware, what do you want?
I don't even know. Like, I like the form factor. Like, I like the light, but like you can't really dock it, which kind of goes against the Switch like mantra.
Would you want a light size that does dock?
I think I'd rather just keep the form factor. Maybe it changes slightly, but maybe a tiny bit bigger screen. But I think I just want more horsepower, so that way it stays current. We can keep getting ports and stuff from current, well, soon to be current gen consoles as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting. I don't know how that's going to go, but
I mean, a lot of people are using that like dynamic resolution stuff, and that seems to be working well for the Switch. So I hope when they go like more 4K, they can still work.
Where do you think the Switch is in another 3 years?
A lot more homes.
Do you think we are past the Switch? Do you think we're on to a successor? Or do you think that the Switch branding stays? Do you think this becomes like the iPhone of Nintendo?
I can see that happening. I think the Switch branding is going to stick around. I think it's a thing that has landed strong. And it might not be just the Switch, but you could see like a Switch 2, or they want to really...
Switch U. Come on, use the right terminology, please.
No, you got to stay just easy. Switch 2 or Switch XL. Just like keep it simple, but in the family. None of this. The new Nintendo Switch,
the worst.
3DS XL, like
that was so
clean
bad.
and simple. I still don't understand, and you explained this to me like 3 times on this podcast. I still don't completely understand the entire 3DS, DS library, but it's fine. I don't need to know.
No. The one thing I did like about DS and Wii, although the naming convention, yes, got absolutely stupid, but the fact that you did have DS and Wii branding of some kind for, I mean, DS, you could argue 15 years. If you count last year as like the final like fuck you to the 3DS, which actually is still kind of lingering on. It's a fucking limper, but like you walk into Target, they still sell DS systems and stuff. But I feel like having DS still around since 2004 or 5, 4. And then Wii from 2006 up until the Wii U coughed its way out in 2016. 2016? 2017?
You're asking the wrong person.
Breath of the Wild was the last thing, so 17. So yeah, 3 years ago, right? But even having Wii for 11 years, kind of as a staple of Nintendo, that I could see Switch sticking around.
I think it's important. I think it has to stick around. And you can start. And then Nintendo's never really done that mid-cycle. And there was a lot of rumor they were going to do it this year, and they said not. And it seems like they're going to go that way, but it'd be interesting what they do pull off with like a mid-generation upgrade that we started to see with PlayStation and Xbox. Yeah,
it's tough because they're going to have to make sure the old one's still supported, but all right. Well, happy birthday, Switch. Speaking of things that are sticking around, I listened to Ted Price interview Phil Spencer on the Game Maker's Notebook. Did you listen to this at all?
No, I did not. No, I didn't get around to it.
Well, basically, Phil just kind of grilled Ted for 22 minutes about declining the Xbox acquisition in favor of Sony. I'm just kidding. That was all made up. That didn't happen. No, they talked a lot about the future of gaming. They talked about how they both see gaming going based on lessons they've learned from the past. And they talked a lot about viewing. Phil specifically talked about viewing the marketplace with a more global view than gaming companies had previously. So he talked about things like how do the way that advertising habits play into African citizens dictate how Xbox looks at video game monetization. He talked about visiting Africa for something for Microsoft. Mm-hmm. And there they have a thing where you basically get credit back towards using the internet. You get like credit hours every time you view an ad. And he was like, could we take that and turn that into a monetization model in a video game? And the answer is yes, but then how do you do that? What does that look like? What's the long like those types of things? And they talked a lot about like where the industry is going in terms of that stuff. They talked about how the current pricing model it's kind of, you have to kind of read between the lines a little bit, but it sounded like Ted Price had some ideas that he was okay with, but then talking to other executives within Sony, there was some pushback, and then he's asking Phil kind of like, how did you guys do this? Because I want to do this, but they're not budging. Like, without saying it, it sounded a lot like he talked about putting first-party stuff on Game Pass, which the way he was asking the question kind of, to me, if you're reading into it a little bit, sounds like, I wanted to do that with PlayStation Now so that people would actually sign up for PlayStation Now, and I thought it'd be a good idea, but Jim Ryan doesn't want to do it. I'm just using Jim Ryan as an example. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the questions, I don't, maybe I was incorrect in looking at it through that lens or listening through that lens, but I think it was a fun mental exercise for me to hear, like, why is he really asking these questions? But Phil Spencer kept reiterating the future of multitudes. It was never like a singular vision. It was, yes, all of these monetization ideas work. Like the $60 box game is not going anywhere, but the Game Pass subscription is not going anywhere. And the future of how people buy and play games is, there's still so many possibilities. And he talked about how the future of consoles is more, not less. And he equated it to streaming music, streaming TV, and the fact that now there's more things you can stream TV on than there were 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 15 years ago. And he made mention, and again, you read into it a little bit, it sounds like he's very much talking about multiple SKUs future of Xbox. But he said, you'll still have your nice box under your nice TV, but who's to say you wouldn't have another box upstairs in the bedroom, or the TV itself, or that the TV itself doesn't play the game. So the idea that he reiterated, the Xbox Series X is the console where it's the best looking, it's the best thing, and that's where you're going to get the best quality. But the reality is you have your phone that now through xCloud you can play games. And who's to say there isn't another box that runs these games somewhere else? So he talked about a lot of that being the future of that and how he sees that getting more and more prevalent. And he talked about a lot of collaboration within gaming companies being important and integral to the future of games. So almost like I wouldn't, if in 2025 you told me, if you right now fucking ripped open the table, had a portal in the center here to just peek forward, and you were like, hey, check out my Xbox, I'm using PlayStation Now on it. Wouldn't be surprised. Like the way that he's talking about things and the way that he wants to collaborate with other companies, it sounded like that in a way. Kind of. Like obviously Xbox is its own brand. You probably still want to keep things proprietary and whatever. But it just seemed like, let's do what we can to make sure that the player is at the center. And when the player's happy, they're going to spend money and they're going to do this and we're going to make money. They were kind of having this conversation, and Ted Price brought up how it was kind of a transition about like appreciating how candid Phil Spencer is and how open he is about talking about these things and all of that.
He's got the biggest dick in the world.
He's waving it around. And he said, while you got that thing out, let me talk to you about Game Pass profits. And he kind of poked a little bit at the idea about how do you make money by putting all of your first-party games on Game Pass? Just logistically, it doesn't make sense, right? And you could hear in Phil's voice like a little bit of hesitation, almost like they're not turning a profit. Like that's kind of what I got from his answer. But he reiterated the fact that the company needs to be bold about, he's used the word bold about making first-party choices, and that he feels confident that they have the studio backing. You know, they have enough studios now and first-party content that will be coming out that they can continue to support this and make a case for it. It seems like the thing we talked about a long time ago when Game Pass started getting pushed a lot about Game Pass as a service was the future, and Microsoft would likely eat some money for a little bit, but having those long-term subscriptions is what's going to pay out. It seems like his answer to me sounded like someone is breathing down his neck a little bit. Like, I told you this was going to lose money, and he's banking on that big bet. I don't know. Again, me reading into it, I think it was a really good talk, about an hour long. And all of those things. Ted Price has interviewed some good people. I listened to his Amy Hennig interview a while back, his Ed Boon one. All really, really good conversations. I think where do you want to see Xbox go in the future?
I don't know. Like they're like the biggest unknown, but we know more of their hand than we do PlayStation's, and maybe even Nintendo's at this point. Like, yeah. Phil, ever since Phil has taken over, it's been a complete 180.
Oh yeah, I was actively against ever owning an Xbox this generation because of what Don Matrick did. And then when Phil Spencer came on the scene and started talking the way he talked, I was ready to jump and have it. You know what I mean? And now I feel better about having all of them, and I want all of them. You know what I mean? Like there's
Game Pass I do think is the future.
Yeah.
I generally think that it's a bet that's going to win, especially once you get first-party studios going and they start releasing a big first-party game or a first-party game every quarter.
You tweeted at Xbox today about Halo Infinite. It's crazy that I was going to buy that day one. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
And when I bought my Xbox, I specifically bought the one that came with the Master Chief Collection, and then there, lo and behold, they put it on Game Pass. So
yeah, I played many games through Xbox, not necessarily on my Xbox itself. And I don't own a single game besides the ones on Gold.
I got a $25 gift card for Xbox for Christmas. It's still sitting over there because I haven't. What am I going to buy? I got Game Pass.
Yeah, and that was the console I got. It was the one I came for. They didn't have Ultimate yet, so I got the 3 months of Game Pass and then Live Gold that came with it. And I haven't had to buy a thing since. And day one, I had Master Chief Collection. And well, I mean, you could technically get it even cheaper than $15. I just said $15 in that tweet because of Ultimate, but that month you could just play Halo Infinite, probably beat the campaign. Let's just be real. In that month,
Probably.
And then if you don't care about the multiplayer, like that's $10 or $15, depending on whatever.
And I've heard of people who did that for Gears 5.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason why you couldn't.
But because of Game Pass and me already having it, I played Gears 5 and actually really ended up liking Gears 5 for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So, like, now I'm ready to play Gears 6.
Because, yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe even these other Gears, not the Funko one, but the
maybe. No, Gears Tactics, I'm
XCOM one.
I'm more excited about that than I was for Gears 5 in the end. Yeah. We'll give that a listen if you are interested in that or any of the other ones. But now it is about the time where I ask you, Matthew, if you've played any video games in the last week.
The perfect timing because I feel this headache coming on in.
Good.
I think a lot of it has to come with what I've been playing, and that game is Dark Souls.
So let me ask this. Did you play anything but Dark Souls this week?
I did. I touched a little bit more of Not for Broadcast.
Okay, cool.
I got through a couple more segments. That game's dealt his hand to me now. I didn't finish it, but I really like where it's going. Yeah, they're very... Like, there's these things now that are happening where we'll start talking about like a news story, like at the top. You know, you like run through the news stories, like today we're going to cover this, and then we're going to cover this, and there's that graphic that pops up. The game will give you a choice of 2 graphics to use to like spin the thing. So like there was one about like a athlete going out on the night, and you could show the athlete puking, or you could show the athlete with his girlfriend. You know, they're like casually holding hands to like skew the perspective. So I'm starting to see where like the Papers, Please mechanics come into this game.
Yeah, that's pretty clever.
And then there's it's not great. It's all text based right now, and it's a little jarring when the rest of the game's like all on this like live footage, all that stuff. Yeah. But between shows, you're getting these little segments of you being home, like all text pretty much with like a little background of a TV or whatever. And like I was faced with a decision because of that election results. The new government that's taken over wants to pretty much take all the money from the rich and spread it all out. And so, like, evidently, like, your stepbrother or no, brother-in-law has all this money and is trying to leave the country, but their passports are locked because they need to take the money for, you know, to spread the wealth. And so, like, you were given the decision of, well, he looks like you. He could take your passport probably and get out of the country. And so, like... I gave him it, but like you're going to see the repercussions of that, I'm sure, like later down the road. So you're starting to get some of those more personal decisions as well as influencing the meta of the news.
Did you play Papers, Please?
Yeah.
Because I played a bit of that on Vita, and that those little things where you're like,
like that poor guy that kept coming with the fake ass passport.
Fuck him. I never felt bad for him. I felt bad for the guy who was like, hey, my wife is right behind me. Please be nice to her. And she had like fucked up papers. And I was like, I let her through, and then I got in trouble for it. But it was like, I feel bad. You know what I mean? But in this, it's a tough one.
And like, it is funny though, because they, there was a segment. There's like little things too that's happened in the studio. So like the anchor wasn't back in a seat in time for after the commercial break, and so like one of the producers quickly pops into one of your feeds and is like, hey, we're actually gonna start on camera 3 on this person. And it was like 10 seconds before going to air. Like, oh shit, all right, here we go, I'm gonna go to this camera. And then you see the dude sit down with 2 seconds left, and he starts talking like he's at their back, and he's like, oh shit, and he's like all visibly pissed off that they didn't we didn't cut to him starting. And it's like little things like that are piling up. And then there was this great, stupid segment that I had to produce where it was like a musical section of a play. And so I had to do like these quick cuts to like the people that were singing and focusing on them.
Oh, I like
But it was
that.
like so badly, actual production was so badly produced. It's like all these like kids, like all out of position and stuff. So like you're having to deal with that. And that plays into the election because these people were so poor, but with all the newfound money, they decided they're going to try to put on this production about bullying. And so you go through and you edit this whole process, and at the end when you go to commercial, you just see like your anchor is like, "What the fuck did I just watch? That was terrible."
They turn you and scream?
Huh?
Do they animate that like the turning in you to scream, or what's that look like?
It's all you look at the feeds.
Yeah.
And like because the mics are still hot, even though like the actual broadcast on commercial, you can still hear if you turn up your volume.
Okay.
So like you're seeing them at the desk, like what the fuck did I? You're like this is awful. This is what our country's money is going towards now. like everyone's just pissed off.
It's pretty good.
As this family's like in this other camera feed, like all hugging and celebrating, they just like did this play
ripped apart. All right, it sounds good. And so you haven't seen the end of the content, right? Because you said that this is pretty finite.
Yeah, I know from the developer post that there's only a couple hours worth of gameplay, and I think it's like the first month of the game, and it seems like it's like every other day, like every third day, you kind of are producing.
Okay.
So like that month's kind of going fast. It's not like 30 days of you actually doing this.
Yeah.
It's I think they said at the end of the month is when it wraps up with the early access version, but they plan to have, I think it goes for like a year or so.
Okay.
Then of course all these decisions, they're gonna have different plot lines and stuff.
It sounds cool.
Yeah, it makes you think. And then also like the ads as well. Like you have multiple tapes now, and there's one where it like had a sticky note on it. I was like, hey, this toy might be not great to sell to kids. So like you had the decision of airing it or not.
What'd you do?
I didn't air it.
Oh.
I didn't air it.
Huh.
But yeah, it's like little things like that. And I think like at some point, like a higher up might be like, "Hey, why didn't you play that ad for the toy?"
Yeah.
So I see the things starting to blossom to where they go. But yeah, no, I like it. I like it a lot.
How do you like Dark Souls Remastered?
It's a very fucking hot and cold relationship, and this is what happens every night when I play this game for a couple hours. I start playing, and then I just keep, excuse me, I just start dying to bullshit and things I don't like, and then I get so mad at the end of the night, and I just go to bed just pissed off.
You don't do anything to palate. That's why I asked if you'd been playing anything else. Because
I turn it off. I go to bed and just simmer. As I look at like the next thing I need to do to affect your life, and like we're looking at guides and all this stuff.
Were you ever this? Had you hit this in Bloodborne or Sekiro, or is this a new kind of hate?
This is new.
Oh,
but then the other thing is like with Bloodborne and Sekiro, the goal from the start was never platinum. I gotta get a platinum for this reason. It was like, these games are really good, and I'm enjoying playing these. And yeah, Bloodborne, there was those instances where I was like, God damn, like I just kind of organically would come back to it.
Yeah.
But here's the fucked up part. So yeah, I go to bed every night so mad, but then like when the workday comes along, I'm like, I can't wait to go home and play more Dark Souls, man.
Such a weird masochistic. Is that the right word?
That seems right. Yeah.
You derive sexual gratification from your own pain and humiliation. Yeah, masochism.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's where I'm at. So,
any big bosses this week that were, like, triumphs or...
Yes. I have made progress in the game despite what I'm saying. The one thing that I found out early in the week, and I just texted you right away with a big fuck, like... I've realized the Ornstein and Smo fight, you actually do need to kill them both, like, in the different orders to get their specific souls to craft specific weapons. And then I went on to find out that New Game Plus, trying to kill the fast one in the second phase is, like, nearly impossible. So I fucked that up. So I just kind of swallowed that pill, and we'll deal with it when I get there kind of mentality. But that started the week.
Yeah.
And then I've finally the fast traveling thing started. So I've been kind of zipping around to some different areas, and I went into a place called the Duke's Archives, which is like a giant library. Think of the library in Bergenworth. Less dark, a little bit more bright. It was kind of like that on a bigger scale. That area was interesting, and then it leads into the Crystal Caves, which is actually a cool little... This is all like these crystals coming out of the wall.
Yeah.
And there's like invisible like walkways as well, but the game's really cool with that. There's like this little like dust that twinkles almost, and like you can see it fall and hit these invisible things. So you have a pathway.
That's cool.
And then when you get close enough, the little orange like messages start to pop up, so you kind of know.
Safe, yeah.
So I thought that was a really cool area. And then it led to Seath, the Scaleless, which is a dragon boss, which easy fucking boss. So easy. God, I could have killed it in the first go after I kind of figured out what was going on. But thank God it didn't, because I looked up the guide for him, and they were like, oh, well, you actually need to do something specific here, so that way you get a weapon that you need for the platinum. Oh, man. So what you have to do is you have to chop off this tail's boss, and you get the...
Boss's tail?
Yeah, whatever.
Got it.
You have to chop off the tail, and then you get this weapon, like Moonlight Drake or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the way the boss is, like, positioned, it's, like, real tough. Like, you have to, like, as soon as you see the frame of the right attack, you have to, like, run around. But then, like, if you get caught, you're dead. So it's the most...
So the easy boss fight became this fucking nightmare
thing to do. And everyone was like, it's easy with a summon. It's easy with a summon. I'm like, no, fuck that.
Yeah, not doing that.
I'm not doing that. I'm not, that's not how I play this game.
So is the tail chopping, do you just need to get there and it's one chop and you're done? Or is it like...
You have to inflict damage.
You gotta... Okay.
Yeah.
So, that really sucks.
I did it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Finally. Got it done. And then I went to the Demon Ruins, which is all lava. I have heard that this is the game that is not complete. Like, there was an area that... with Miyazaki, right?
Yeah.
That he ran at a time.
Oh.
And he kind of had to, like, button it up real quick. Huh. And I can notice that because it's just a bunch of old bosses just as regular enemies down here.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Are they as tough? Or
no, they're like, I don't know if they're as tough and you just level it up to the point or whatever. Yeah. But, yeah, they're just reskins down here. And it all sucks.
Yeah.
It's, like, not great design. You can kind of tell. Like, it doesn't flow with the rest of the game. Weird.
Why put it in?
That's what everyone's saying because everyone hates this area.
Huh.
So, yeah, I went through that. There is a name of a boss which might go as best boss name. That could be a band name. Ceaseless Discharge.
Dude, yes. That's good. That's damn good.
Yeah. So
Ceaseless Discharge?
Ceaseless Discharge.
I'll look that one up.
Yeah, go ahead and look that up. A fairly easy challenge. Got through him, got through a couple other bosses that are down there, and then got to this boss called the Bed of Chaos, which is a platforming boss.
Nah.
Why would you do that? Yeah, so there's these two little... Yeah, dude. Looks real good. There's these two little orange glowy things, and you have to go to them and attack them, and it, like, starts to weaken the boss. But when that happens, the floor starts to break away.
Okay.
So you have to avoid the floor. But here's the fucked up part. The boss swings these arms across the entire arena, and the sweeps just happen to usually push you into one of the holes, instantly die, and you go back. Now, the nice thing they did about this boss fight is if you did the one, like, whatever progress you have made, like if you got to one of those things and broke it, it stayed broke when you went back into the room.
That's pretty good.
So it was a matter of, all right, just me sprinting to the one, hoping I didn't get knocked off, killing it, and then hoping when I keep entering the room that I just make it to the second one. Just a bunch of bullshit. And then once you do those two things, the middle of the floor breaks away, and you have to make a jump perfectly.
No.
Or pretty much perfectly onto this branch that leads up to the boss. That's just one swipe and it's dead.
And you're still doing it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That one was infuriating. And then that walk back to the boss was so long.
Yeah.
Like, so every time I got swiped off, it would be like a 2-minute run back, and I'm just like, oh, like I'm fuming every time I'm running past all the bullshit I gotta run past. But yeah, no, the bullshit's just beginning, Joe, because guess what? I've made my way down the catacombs. Remember that area that I kept dying to the skeletons over and over very early on? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is the wrong way. Now I'm going that way. We're making fine work. I have a weapon that can defeat the skeletons permanently. I have a divine weapon, so we're all good. We're making my way through. Got down to the boss named Pinwheel. I've read that he's one of the easiest bosses in Dark Souls history, and he sure was. Couple hits, and he was dead. I was like, oh, great, that's cool. that area leads into a place called Tomb of the Giants, which I have not stepped any further.
I feel like I've heard Tomb of the Giants before.
Because it is all dark, Joe. It is all dark. Dark.
Do you get like a lantern?
So I think you can get one in the Demon Ruins in an area. So I gotta go back there. That fucking terrible place. But you just have these little light markers. But yeah, as you're running through, you evidently just get jumped by giant skeletons and shit like that. So can't wait for that.
End in sight?
It is.
For real?
Yeah, I got this major boss, the other major boss, which is in New Londo Ruins, which is the ghost area.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get there, get through that, and then technically I could go to the final boss.
Okay.
But the remaster comes with the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
So I got some DLC hunting to do.
I'm peeking at your trophies now.
The last one I got is the Rite of Kindling for killing Pinwheel.
Man.
So yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know if I have to do DLC, but I think I want to do it just to get those extra levels.
Man.
So that way, like, my next run through in New Game Plus is not as like terrible.
Yeah, especially knowing what you now know about that.
My favorite boss fight.
Yeah,
I say that in air quotes. So we'll deal with that when we get there. But I had a goal and wanted to beat my first run by March. That didn't happen. But like I said, at least the end's in sight.
You might. Well, I guess by today it's not March anymore.
No.
But
it wasn't going to happen.
No.
Yeah, breaking kayfabe, it wasn't going to happen tonight either. So
yeah, there you go.
I'm doing it.
Baby,
I'm getting there.
You take a step, you do it, you get.
I really do feel like the second run will not be nearly as bad. It can't be, because nothing. Like, I know the surprises. I've been playing this kind of blind.
Yeah. So
I'll have decent equipment by that point. It can't be that bad. And really, the boss fights for the most part, like the main ones, are not hard. They're really not. I always felt like my biggest issue was I was like slightly underpowered, or my weapon wasn't slightly upgraded enough, and it was a matter of like, let's go this way, maybe get some more levels, and then come back. But the actual mechanics of most of these boss fights were never terrible. It was the O&S, the Ornstein and Smo fight. That was the first one I was like, holy shit. So yeah, I really don't think the runs 2 and 3 are going to be that bad, besides like 2 moments.
I hope that's the case.
I'm a little concerned about the New Londo Ruins boss, because it's one of those bosses that will it starts off as 1, but it can quickly grow into 7 of a person all fighting you at one time. So it's a DPS measurement.
Yeah.
And I have to make sure I'm good.
No. Well, I look forward to hearing more.
Also, there's to get into that boss fight room, it's a little bit of like Simon's Questy. There's some bullshit. You have to make sure you have a ring on, and you have to. So it's fucked, because there's a fall gate, so you have to go through the fall gate, but you quickly realize you can't turn back around. So there's a boss in this room. So you go down these like spiral staircase, and then they just stop. And I guess depending on the game, you might have a thing or something that says equipped whatever, but I guess it depends. But yeah, if you jump, you die. You have to put on a specific ring that lets you enter the abyss, because the boss fight's all like in this pitch dark thing.
Does the ring description give you indication of this, or
it says something about jumping into the abyss? Like, use this to get into the abyss. So like, it's there, but like
it's still esoteric and
like if I saw that boss gate and didn't realize about the ring, I would just jump, and then as soon as I jumped, I would be like, well, what the fuck? And then it would have been me turn into like, all right, should I jump left? Do I jump in the middle? Do I jump right? And then I would have kept dying, and I would have got frustrated and probably turned off the game until I would read that description. So, dude, that game is unforgiving.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of it, Matt. Just like, kind of
Like, to a different level, though, I feel like it's just...
doesn't care about you. It hates you. It wants you to die.
Yeah, a lot.
Unlike Session, which I spent some time with this week.
Oh, good for you. That was fun.
Kind of. It's a little tough. Speaking of things not being very forgiving, Session is, of course, the new skateboarding game by the developers of Skate, or some of the former devs from Skate. And a new patch hit in the last week-ish. It might have been out before last podcast, but I started messing around with it. So yeah, it's the trick window, where you need to flick the stick is much more precise now, and it's a little less forgiving when you're trying to pull things off. So as I've been running around, like, sometimes I'm fucking up kickflips and heel flips, which should be the easiest thing in the world, but I'm going a little more diagonal than it actually wants you to. So it's been kind of relearning those things, but they added a new skate park area. So it's this, like, what's cool is now you can launch right into different areas in the game. So the last patch had added an underground parking garage. This one added, like, a kind of like an urban playground skate park. Like, it's like fucked up cement and street signs bent over so you can grind on them and shit like that. And then also, like, just standard skate parky things. But so now right from the menu, when you start the game, you can launch right to one of those areas, or at any time in the start menu, you can jump there, or as you're skating through that, like, Brooklyn-y area, you can, like, skate up against the doors of the parking garage and hold A to warp into it.
Oh, all right.
There's a cool secret upstairs section in the underground park they made. Not underground park, but like the skate park, the creature park as they called it. Like, I was skating around in there having a good time, and then I looked and there's this whole big staircase, and I was like, I wonder. I hopped off my board, ran up, and sure enough, like, you can fully run up the stairs, you go up, and there's all these set pieces up there. So it's like, oh, cool. You can even, like, fuck around. You're like in a warehouse. You can, like, jump over the rafters and run through the top of the warehouse. Like, hood rat shit I would have done when I was skating back in the day anyway. Like, we're inside this fucked up place. Let's go see what's up here and piss off of it. No piss button yet, but give it time.
Well, Death Stranding.
Ah, fuck. Death Stranding should have been a skateboarding game this whole time. No, you can't skateboard. Does he have a hoverboard?
Yes, he does.
Oh, God. More on that later, perhaps. So I noticed the game generally runs a little bit smoother overall, but also that the indoor sections have, like, a little bit more detail in the environments. Like, things just look sharper. The draw distance is much shorter, or longer, rather, than when you're outside in the main area. They've added a lot of new character animations, so your player character just seems a little bit more human now. It's still, I think they still have some work to do in that regard, but just little things like now when you're like revert, or you're even just like, you kind of like go up, even if you don't full revert, you're just kind of coming down from a pipe or a half pipe or something. Your character kind of like naturally turns in the direction that you would turn to face, so you wouldn't eat shit, you know? There's little things like that are just, they're subtle, but there's a lot of like potential in the game that they still just keep like drawing out bit by bit. And it just, you know, I could just spend days in that game, just cruise around skateboarding. I have iTunes in the other tab, just blaring shit and skate.
Yep.
It's good. They did add new controls, so if you were one of the folks who tried this, didn't like it because it didn't have skate-like controls, or just stayed away from it because it didn't, they've added that as part of the experimental features. They're always adding things that aren't like, they call them experimental just because they're not like 100% ready to go yet. But those are part of it now, so you can do left stick for, I think it's like regular control, and right stick is your flip. Yeah, your
lean
trick control.
Oh, okay. Did you try it? Or
no.
Okay.
No, because I'm too used to this now. Like, I really like
the
way that I started playing this game. Like, I have to think about it like I'm thinking about riding a skateboard. So I just, that muscle memory. It was weird at first, and I remember when they did it, I was one of the ones that was just like, just make it like Skate. And then, because I hated Skate when it came out too, because it wasn't Tony Hawk, and I got used to Skate, and now they changed it again.
Yeah, I hated Skate. like the couple times I play, I'm like, this isn't. I can't. Benihana circle and diagonal up.
Yeah, why isn't this working? And now this, I actually prefer this over all of them. Like Tony Hawk still has its place, but in terms of like realism, this is the way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my week mostly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played a little bit of Zelda after we recorded last week, Zelda 2. I did another Palace, but I really, all week long, I have not played anything except for Session a couple times. Come home, play that. It's been, quiet, weird week. I don't, even today, I'm like, when we're wrapped up here, I don't think I'm going to play. I don't know. Who knows what the world will bring?
Yeah.
We're going to take a break, and we'll come back, and we've got a good number of news stories to talk about.
All the news.
Right after this. Welcome back to the news part of the show, the only place where you get to hear the news that we care about. Matt, this week we got a little bit of leak stuff.
A little
leakage. Kind of. So it's less leakage and more cleanage of leakage. Got two news stories this week about this. One, Activision subpoenas Reddit to try and uncover the identity of someone who leaked the new Warzone mode in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That's the Battle Royale mode. And then another report from Wired talks about how Nintendo has become increasingly aggressive, is the quote here, increasingly aggressive, when chasing down leakers of upcoming announcements. Most recently, in terms of the Nintendo scene, there's been a lot of notable voices, Twitter accounts, or people that pop up in different threads who have kind of fallen silent as these threats from Nintendo are on the rise. What do you think? Are leaks a good thing?
I mean, they're never a good thing for the company, but...
How about for you? Obviously, the company doesn't want that. The company wants to control the messaging. But what do you feel? You're here.
I'd say bring it on.
You like a leak.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you get news. Like, I don't want these companies controlling every single part of the message.
So do you think a leak is necessary?
I don't necessarily need like leaks of like directs and games coming in direct or anything like that, but we need some kind of leaks of like terrible things that could be happening inside of a studio that come to light. Like that stuff's necessary.
Okay, in the case of what we're seeing here, right? So the Call of Duty Warzone leak, right? Let's just use that as our active example. Is that a good thing that was leaked out, or would you rather have read a press release from Activision that said that?
I don't know. I don't mind the leak for that.
How about
I don't even mind like the leak that's saying like, hey, Nintendo's about to announce a direct tomorrow. Stay tuned. It's more like the stuff inside the direct that like I'd rather not know. But that's just spoiler stuff. That's like a personal thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm with you. I think there's a level in which where the tease of something gets you excited versus an outright here's everything. Here's everything you need to know.
Here's Resident Evil 3 in a thumbnail.
Yeah. Here's the entirety of Bethesda's E3 lineup, Walmart Canada. Like there's the differences between the two where it's like, oh, that would have been cool to know as a big, you know what I mean? Yeah. As part of the big spectacle. Can you think of an example of when a leak has ruined something for you?
I feel like that Resident Evil 3 one was pretty big.
Yeah, that would have been a big turn in that.
Because it's still, that thing still kind of got me in that.
Yeah.
And that thing, I was like, what? Solo campaign for this game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing.
Yeah, that would have been. But if we had not known that would have been such a cool. That's a good recent example of one. I think there's been
a few where I'm like, oh man.
Like I remember Mario Maker leaked. Somebody took a picture on the show floor that year of a Mario Maker thing, and it was like, Mario Maker? What the fuck is that? They wouldn't make... What? No. And then sure enough, it was there, and it was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I was gonna say The Last of Us Part 2, but that wasn't leaked. I found that out. That was just a bad case of events there that happened.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Like, there's nothing. There's not another one in recent memory that I can think of. I'm sure there's tons of examples.
Elden Ring.
I wouldn't have cared.
That was a big deal.
It was a deal, but like.
But if we've been watching E3 Raw and seen Miyazaki and George R. R. Martin, like what? The fuck? Like, we kind of knew that so much going in, for sure. I think the one thing that I'm kind of honestly a little happy to see a little bit of pressure being put on folks to cut back with this stuff, only because I think a lot of the vitriol that we see is from people's like false expectations building up. Like, you can't, like, Nintendo, like, will tweet out like the sweetest, most, heartfelt things about whatever, and the first response is just direct when. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, right now they're posting about PAX East, and someone's replying like, I keep thinking it's a direct every time they tweet. Like, just like, fuck, and then like people, I think there was one that said like, okay, well, here you go. This is the pinnacle of humanity. Someone using Despicable Me images to threaten Nintendo about making a direct. That's where we're at. So
chill out.
I think a lot of these leaks of things like that, where it's like, hey, there's going to be 2 big directs this month. And there's like that stuff can often lead to false hope and this like expectation, and also, what's the word I'm looking for? You get these people who feel like they're entitled to having this because they heard on the internet that this might be a thing. Like, it cost me 2 cherry fucking Coke Energies this week, if you think about it, right? Like, I bought into it. I chose to believe in that shit, and here we go.
I like think of the reverse of some of that shit, though, right? Like, the things that came as a general... Mario and Rabbids.
Yeah.
I just thought about that because I was thinking of another Ubisoft thing. But, like, think of... Go back to Starlink, right? Mm-hmm. When like we were all like, "This fucking thing's stupid," and then they came out, big smile on that guy's face, and said "Star Fox" and pointed, and everyone was, "Oh shit!" Imagine if that would have been leaked, and then the expectations of like, "Oh man, how much Star Fox is going to be in this game?"
Right,
and then they would have came out and like, "Oh, Star Fox," and everyone's like, "What the fuck? I thought this is supposed to be Star Fox 1."
That's a good, the optics of that totally change depending on the positioning of that stuff, and I'm all for it.
And I mean, even to a degree, like when you think of another example, like that leak of Mario and Rabbids, everyone's like, "What the fuck is this? A tactical shooter?" Then when we saw it, we were like, "What the fuck?"
Pleasantly surprised. Yeah, it turned out to be okay.
And imagine that, like,
it's
not like
it's a weird.
Or even like bigger than that, like Jack Tretton's famous moment of pointing at a screen that for $3.99. Like, imagine if the price that leaked right after Xbox or like leading into that weekend.
Yeah, you don't have that whole moment. That entirety of Jack Tretton's penis on stage, gone. Maybe like you might get pieces of him grinning and shit, but like
he might flash it a little bit. He's not hanging.
You're not getting the whole hanger. You're just getting the tip. Let's talk about the Xbox Series X. Last week, some new details came out about the Xbox Series X. Speaking of leaks,
this is another good example. Think of if you would have known like this was getting revealed at the VGAs.
Oh yeah, that would have been insane. Well, no, but literally, I read through this list of the Xbox Series X details from Phil Spencer this week. I had no idea what was new in this press release. I was like, we knew that. Yeah, we knew about the AMD. But no, some of the stuff was the first time they said it, but it's been leaked and reported on so much because anyone can write a headline these days, and we're all too lazy to click on a fucking thing and actually read anymore.
I'm guilty of that.
I try to chase it down when I can, but everyone has a short attention span, so people just regurgitate facts, right? They read as a headline. So, but the Xbox Series X, the things I kind of got that were hard confirmation that were cool, at least to talk about. I feel like we knew that the fact that he announced that Game Pass is coming forward was like, duh. But that was one of the pieces in here that was technically confirmed for the first time. And they talked about new dynamic latency input in the new controller so that there's more precise and responsive controls. That was something that it's the way he phrased it. It was in the Xbox controller, like wireless controller is the one he referred to, which is the name of the new one. But I don't know if that means because all your old accessories are forward compatible, that if those would work or not. I don't know. So temperature check. How excited are you about Xbox Series X?
It's kind of hard for me to be ready to be excited for that console when I have the PC I have.
Yeah.
I think I'd be crazy excited right now if I didn't have that PC, to play Halo.
Yeah, all right.
I really would see myself paying $500 plus change, plus that 15 for Infinite. What
if Halo Infinite is not cross-play and you're in the PC environment only when that comes out, the way that Halo Reach is right now?
I think it would depend on what my friends. I think I'm gonna buy the console regardless, just because I actually have income now this time around for these things.
Yeah.
So I think I will get it, but I think I would have been a real hard pulse check to see where my friends were going.
Yeah.
Especially with PlayStation 5 coming probably weeks apart.
Well, that's my next question. How about the PlayStation 5?
Ecstatic.
Why? Why that?
First party. They're a first party lineup that I have to play on their console because it doesn't come to PC.
Huh.
I'm thinking of the next Horizon. I'm thinking of the next God of War. I'm thinking of the next Spider-Man. I'm thinking of all that.
I am too, but I'm also feeling like I got to buy a PlayStation out of obligation.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Right? It doesn't feel like excitement to me. It feels like I got to pay my fucking internet bill. You know what I mean? I got to get the PlayStation 5. Xbox Series X, I'm like, this is a fucking cool console. You know, a lot of... And PlayStation 5 will be too.
I already own the Xbox and their strategy. And I am through the moon excited for Halo.
Yes. Well, I do like the other stuff in here, about the multiple games you can resume at a time, the quick load, those things are all, I think, quality of life improvements of this next generation that I'm going to appreciate a lot. But I feel like both consoles are going to have those things. I don't know.
Mark Cerny will make sure of it.
Oh, that's so true.
I think this leads into my bet. For this week. I think it's a good time to place it. For Cherry Coke Energy, do you think you will get anything from PlayStation this week? And it can be, I'm literally saying anything. Either a press release for a Wired article or an announcement for them to do something to unveil their console. Send out an invitation, whatever.
What if it's I don't know. Are you saying any official communication from PlayStation regarding PlayStation 5? Or are you saying
new details?
New information. New details about PS5.
Or a tease for the new details because they announced an event or they sent out invitations to the press and of course the press will take pictures. Oh my God, it's coming.
But not a thing like the other week where they said, remember that thing? What was that little update that happened?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Nothing new about it, or
I think it quite literally said we need more time or something like that.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. I mean, kind of like a rebuttal to what Xbox just did.
Okay. This week?
Yeah.
No.
I say yes.
No. Ooh. Yeah,
I don't. February now, and they got it. I know. My heart says, or my brain says May. They're gonna do something. But my heart wants all the details now.
Oh, I'm with you. I very much would like to know and start getting excited about these things, but yeah, it's hard to. Which is why I thought that was interesting that Xbox did jump out this week, because there's been weird background scuttlebutt about PlayStation that folks have been waiting on. How about this? All right, so our next story is just a fucking tweet, so there's not much to say, but there is. There was a tweet from Resident Evil, the official account, just saying that a Resident Evil 3 demo is on the way. So, do you think we get a state of play this week with stuff like that? Or do you think Resident Evil's, it's cool, it's on its own now, let's just put the demo out when we're ready? This is not a bet. This is just me asking. Because I'm wondering, right, they've got this announcement of the demo, but no whatever. Do you think March is the time?
Resident Evil tweet. Yeah, that's like not. I think that's just gonna be on its own.
Just here it is.
And I don't think there's much
to do for a state of play.
Yeah. Besides, retouch on things you already touched on. I don't think that's what you want to do with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, probably not.
You probably put out updates on what's that game, Humanity, in a blog post.
Yeah. Huh. They could show off Samurai Jack Battle Through Time. Coming summer 2020 for PC, PS4, Xbox, and Switch.
They won't do that. It's a competitor to Ghost of Tsushima.
Good call. But that got announced this week. Based on the cartoon. This is kind of it takes place earlier in the timeline than what the current Adult Swim series had done. But it's cool. I like that something like that can have a new video game 15 years after.
I was never a big Samurai Jack.
I never got into it at all, and people get really mad when you tell them that you didn't get into it at all.
I mean, as a kid, it just didn't have a lot of action. I'm sure if I rewatched it now, I'll understand a little bit more.
You're making someone scream right now.
I don't care.
Yeah, I never. I give a fuck. But hey, if you gave a fuck, and if you continue to give a fuck, I got good news for you. There's a Samurai Jack game coming out this summer. Speaking of this summer, got a big event on the way, Matt. Not sure if you've heard of it. It's called The Rapper 10. Or as some might know it, TI-10. As others might know it,
Number 10, the big one.
The International. Brought to you by Sweden. Dota announcements this week. Valve has announced that after TI-10, there's a new regional league system that's going to be implemented to provide a little bit more regularity to the Dota 2 viewing audience throughout the year. I think I got this right because this is a very confusing rollout, but the schedule's broken into 3 seasons throughout a year with 6 regional leagues. Each season lasts for 6 weeks. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right.
Okay.
And then it leads into a minor or a major, or all to majors? The season culminates to one, some kind of tournament. I can't remember if they're majors or the minors. I think it's either or.
Sure. So will this get you to start watching Dota every day? Because there's daily schedule posted where it was just China's playing this day, Russia's playing this day, or whatever.
It'd be easier to keep track of teams and see how their current status is and stuff. And it's a good way to kind of constantly monitor the meta kind of going into a tournament and stuff like that. And I think it would be more consistent for the actual updaters to roll out updates as well, on the other end of that. Mm-hmm. There's been a couple times where they release a patch right before a tournament and it fucks everything. So it doesn't mess it up, but teams that had a game plan have to readjust because of a buff or a nerf. So I think that regularity just helps out everyone, and then you can kind of see the status of your team leading up into a tournament.
Do you think this can combat other esports leagues?
I think.
Is there going to be a bar playing this the way that a bar plays Overwatch League?
No, I don't think so.
Are there bars playing Overwatch League? I
wouldn't be shocked. Okay. I wouldn't be shocked if I walked into a barcade and had a stream on Twitch of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I saw earlier today, I Am Katawa's or whatever is going on right now for Counter-Strike. It's one of their bigger one of their majors, and Counter-Strike has hit the highest concurrent player list because everyone's watching the tournament inside the browser.
Client, yeah.
So I don't know, that game just hit its most concurrent, people playing it, playing in quotes, of course, in 10 years.
Yeah.
So never say never, but I think League kind of has the MOBA consensus, and I think that's only going to get stronger as they start releasing their other stuff.
Just doubling down on that, yeah. Not to be outdone by Dota 2, Dota Underlords got an update this week that now includes hats in its Battle Pass. So for $4.99, you can get the paid tier of the Battle Pass and earn hats that will modify your character's stats. How's Underlords?
You know what? I kind of forgot to play it this week. I wanted to take a look at it and see what was going on because I have not played that in a while, and they have added. Keep in mind, weekly they were changing that game when I fell off of it.
Yeah.
I think they were still doing it mostly weekly, and then they added so many bigger mechanics to it. I want to kind of see the state of it. I do apologize, I forgot to launch it.
Are people still as interested as they once were?
I think that genre's kind of dipped off a little bit, but like people are playing it.
Do you think it fell off in the way that Battle Royales fell off, or do you think it's softer than that? Like Battle Royales, I feel like there was that hot minute where it was you couldn't see a press release that didn't say our Battle Royale mode is coming.
I think it fell off harder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I mean, that Battle Royale thing was just such you could be in and out of a game. Like, yeah, you're in the top 5, you're in it for like 20 minutes or so, but it was just so easy to play. One, to play with friends, squad up, and all play together. And this, you don't really have that. And depending on which one you play, a game can last anywhere from 30 to 50 minutes, even if you are the first one knocked out and you're not trying to get knocked out. So it's just mechanically, I think, is a lot different than your popular Battle Royale mode.
So what do you need to bring you back in? Like, what is the thing missing that you're...
Just the fact that they came out with like 1.0 is a nice thing. It's like, all right, well, I think this is where they are at mechanically. Let me see what's going on. I haven't played it for a while. I don't know what's going to make me stay. I think it's just if the hook's still there, if I still, if I start playing like, oh, why did I step away from this? Why? Maybe I didn't fall. It was just I had to go play something else or something like that. So honestly, just fun gameplay that is good, and it has that hook again. I don't know. I don't think there's a single big feature you can. For me, being this far away, I don't think that you could be like, all right, well, they're bringing this hero from Dota over now.
Right.
I don't think they can do that and be like, well, because they've done that. They have more classes now, more heroes in the player or in the hero pool. So part of the reason why I stepped away, because I think I stayed away from as long as it is, because it changed so much. It was going to be overwhelming. I was going to have to kind of re-alert.
Every week.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to check it out, though.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that game continues to shape up. CD Projekt Red has announced that you will get an Xbox Series X version of Cyberpunk 2077 if you buy the Xbox One version. The tweet says, gamers should never be forced to purchase the same game twice or pay for upgrades. Owners of Cyberpunk 2077 for Xbox One will receive the Xbox Series X upgrade for free when available.
And I think that goes... They kind of tweeted that alongside that release of updates, kind of pointing at the smart delivery.
Yeah.
Kind of, if you buy a game, it automatically knows what version console you need.
Yeah.
So, that's... I think the first salvo, because remember PS3 to PS4, we had a lot of games come with codes for a discount. Like, I specifically remember Battlefield 4 being able to upgrade for $20.
Yes.
And I was like, ugh.
Yes. So the other side of this is that... So first, this kind of confirms that this is up to the publisher, not... This is not Xbox and PlayStation saying, hey, sorry, this is how it's going to work. Because I think we thought that maybe that was going to be the case, because you see how Xbox...
Well, do we know for PlayStation? Technically?
Technically, no.
Okay, all right.
Right, but you think about it and it's like... They couldn't. If
I agree. I'm just saying, do we technically know yet?
We technically don't know. It would just be odd if PlayStation is suddenly going to be the one saying, like, no, when you buy a game here, you have it everywhere.
Look, nothing is going to shock me about what Sony does. And remember, no one would have thought years ago that Xbox would come out and be like, all right, well, you really can't share no-use games.
I think that if PlayStation has had that conversation with publishers like Ubisoft and EA and said this is how it's going to happen, then Microsoft... Because Microsoft has had that same conversation. And then it would have come out. I feel like it's not...
Fair.
That's my only hesitation with that.
I'm just... I'm
could.
Expecting the unexpected.
But if PlayStation says that, then that's how it is on Xbox. Across the board. Like, it has to be. You're like...
Head's coming back again.
Yeah, I know.
PlayStation not...
No.
Still going to buy it.
So Square Enix kind of said... Let me get this one out, and then we can kind of talk about this all as one big thing. So Square says that its games will be released for multi-platform but for both new and
next gen and current.
Thank you, Jesus. And because the next gen consoles are backwards compatible, there's no need for forced next gen SKUs. So obviously the dream is to be able to buy a game once and have it, right? It's the way it works now on PC. I bought a game in 2012 for my PC. When I got a better one, that game runs better on the new one because I have better hardware, but I still bought it once.
Thank you, Steam.
Right?
Thumbs up.
And Xbox has started to do that with a lot of its things, and then moving forward, all of that. But the third-party stuff is the trick. So what do you think the likelihood is that more publishers are going to do this? Or are we going to see the Assassin's Creed Black Flag upgrade situation?
I think...
Do you think it's that, or do you think it's the utopia of Xbox's Play Anywhere? Buy it here and play it on your PC.
Yeah, we're not getting that utopia. Calm down.
Yeah.
I think most publishers, the smart ones, will do it, buy it once, and you get it everywhere. Especially the way these console manufacturers have been talking about backwards compatibility, and it's just like everything's an ecosystem. Especially the way Xbox has been saying it, right? Like come join the party, Series X. You're part of the Xbox ecosystem with our Play Everywhere, and our cousin, the PC, is still around too. So come, just hop in. You know. I'm sure PlayStation's going to be like that to an extent. I mean, they already confirmed the backwards for
PS4.
Yeah. So I think the smart publishers will do the multiple SKUs. I don't trust EA and Activision to do it, but if they were smart, I think they would.
Yeah.
I can just see like whatever. Does DICE have a big fall game?
No, there's some stuff about EA a couple weeks ago. We didn't really talk to. We talked about the
12 games, including Syndicate Mobile.
But there's something that came out this week about a canceled Star Wars game. Another one, like that Amy Hennig one, got kicked to another studio and now canned again. EA's doing some weird stuff.
All right, well,
yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like if they have a big fall. Are they going to have anything to come out on that console?
That was the idea. That was reportedly, this is from Schreier, so it was that Star Wars game was meant to launch with those consoles, and they realized they weren't going to hit that target date, so EA said, well, fuck it. Not, okay, let's put it out in the spring. No, fuck it. Cancel it. Burn it down.
I wonder if Anthem gets that treatment. Huh. And this is the thing. You already own it. Oh, that's how Anthem gets back into it. I just fucking, you're welcome, EA. I just gave you your... That's how you do it. Holy shit, Anthem's not dead. Confirmed.
I mean, Casey Hudson confirmed that the other week, right?
No, but it was drowning against all its competition. No, that's how you do it. 2.0 alongside the launch of the new consoles, and guess what? You already own it.
Yeah. I mean, you think about...
Dude.
It worked for Warframe, right?
Dude, yeah.
Look at that. I mean, Warframe was there at the beginning of PS4. Like, that was one of those day one games where I looked at it and went, I'm good. But a lot of people downloaded it.
Guess
and
what?
it.
I downloaded it and I was like, oh, it's free. Hey.
Yeah.
Dude. All right, Anthem's back in the game, guys. Confirmed.
Speaking of getting back in the game, Sega, to not be outdone, has joined the ranks of PlayStation Plus this week. Tomorrow, your PlayStation Plus games change for the month of March. You're going to get Shadow of the Colossus, that remaster for PS4, and Sonic Forces. So, Sonic makes sense because you're hot on the heels of the movie. You got the public's attention. You're going to have people with... Think about how many PlayStations are in millions of homes. And the fact that now you can capitalize on that, get people to play Sonic. They'll be disappointed because this game is... I'm going to find out definitively about this game this week.
Can't wait.
Dude, I almost fucking bought it for $10. And now that I got it for free, all right. But Shadow of the Colossus. What are we doing with this one, right? You got... Is that an indication that we might see Ueda's next game announced soon? You get people excited with Shadow?
Does Ueda even have Studio Japan?
I don't know. No, he's got his own thing in there. I don't know if he's necessarily doing that, but he's probably doing something, right? Is it that you get people excited about that and you're excited to announce as part of PlayStation 5's first year of launch lineup or whatever, Ueda's game, and then it'll come out on PS6 or whatever? But then, is it that, or is it that because this is a Blue Point game,
I think it's a Blue Point thing.
You get Blue Point as the household name. You get that out there with
I think it's a Blue Point thing.
Interesting.
To lead Demon Souls. I'm convinced it's Demon Souls.
You're buying into that one?
I'm buying into that rumor. PlayStation would be so smart to do that.
All right,
and people want to play it.
I'm thinking here I might need to start a bet tracker, but do we cherry coke this one?
That's a long.
Demons. I know. That's what I'm saying. We got bet tracker.
So what? It would be. What's the first project announced from after this comes out? What's the first it's a race of who announces their project first, Ueda or Blue Point?
Oh, I meant more is the Blue Point game Dark Souls. Or, I'm sorry,
Demon Souls.
Yeah,
I'll put Cherry Coke on that. Cherry Coke Energy or whatever. We should mix it up. We should do different energy drinks for different bets. If we're gonna do a tracker, we may as well just go all in on it. You know?
All right. Well,
like that one's for a case. Or maybe not a case, but a can of pussy energy drink.
That's hard to come by.
All right, well, fine.
You got to think about it that way. In a pinch, right? I can run into a store. It was hard enough to find the fucking Cherry Energy this week.
Or do we do this? We both celebrate this with pussy energy drinks, but we each throw $1 to the cause on a bet, and we figure out who pays more of it.
It's messy, but you're onto something. All right, let me write this down so I don't forget. Blue Point Demons. I'll make a tracker later on. Bet locked. There you go. All right. Those are your PlayStation Plus games for the month, so stay tuned for that. And we also saw on the Xbox games with gold this week, or whenever that's coming, but those include Lords of Shadow 2, which is
Castlevania. Good old Castlevania. Back in homes.
Yeah, like why? So at this point in the last little while, Xbox has put all of the different Castlevania Lords of Shadow stuff. I'm sorry, Konami has put all of them out via deals with games with gold. Why? What's the deal? You're also the other big one you're getting at the back end of the month for games with gold is Sonic Generations. So get that that is a stellar, fantastic game. So you got a PlayStation and Xbox, you got a hell of a month ahead of you. Sonic Forces, you can see what happens when things go wrong. Sonic Generations, when things
you got a combination.
Well, it was good.
Oh, look, there is a series on the site between you and Mark beating that game, and I remember there being highs and definitely there lows. So
yeah.
What was Robotnik's line at that boss fight that we heard time and time again?
Oh, that was
Get
Sonic
a load
Adventure.
Of this.
Get a load of this. Yeah, that was Sonic Adventure.
Oh, was that Sonic Adventure?
Yeah.
Well, I thought Generations had a bullshit boss fight.
Oh, it totally, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Of course.
Get a load of this.
Well, Matt, get a load of this. Yacht Club Games announced Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon this week. A kind of Match 3E style puzzle game with the Shovel Knight characters and heroes. It's more Puyo Puyo, actually, than it is Match 3. What do you think? You got story mode, you got 2-player competitive versus mode, you got a soundtrack by Jake Kaufman again.
I mean, cool, right?
Yeah.
I don't think this is what we're looking for from Yacht Club Games, the puzzler.
Yeah, I want to see their next thing, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is cool, but I also want to see them get away from Shovel Knight.
Like, I hate to say it, but I feel like what was
King Knight? The King of Cards?
King of Cards. I feel like that kind of came and went, and no one's talking about it.
It had to get out. You know what I mean? Like, they had to make that. They had to put it out. And
I
cool,
get it. Like, because, that, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really hope their next project is not, like, Shovel Knight related, too. Like, I think...
Yeah, I mean, we still have this, and we have Shovel Knight Dig still in the way.
Like... I don't know. I liked what they. I liked Shovel Knight. Wasn't
the Free Cheese Game of the Year 2014? And Shovel Knight was great, and its sequels were also great. It's just I'm ready for
Shovel Knight it out.
Yeah, it's been a lot of Shovel Knight in 5 years.
I just want to see what else they can do.
Well, we are maybe going to get to see what else Platinum Games can do after the announcement of Project GG got announced this week. Did you watch the trailer for this?
I did one time. I couldn't really hear the audio. I saw the dog get saved, though.
Dog got saved.
That's all.
Only thing that matters. You got...
Bless you.
Thank you. You got... it seems to be like a kaiju game or something. Like, it resembled... did you ever see War of the Monsters on PS2?
Yes.
Like big...
Yeah.
Seems like that, maybe? I don't know. But Hideki Kamiya is directing the game. And this is important for Platinum because it's the first game that will be wholly developed and published on their own. This is in the wake of a successful Wonderful 101 Kickstarter that we saw. Do you think that more studios will be able to pull off what Platinum is doing here?
It's a big risk, I can tell you that. And like we don't even know if Platinum's going to be able to pull it off, right?
True.
I mean, yeah, it's...
Like, do you think you'll see more independent studios rise to the Platinum level or go to the Insomniac route and get purchased?
I think it depends on the on how hungry Microsoft and Sony are. I don't think either of them are very hungry anymore. Like Microsoft, when they were doing it all, made sense. I think they have what they need.
Yeah.
And they're just now it's like, all right, let's get games developed for next gen. So like I think there's room to do it. It's just And Insomniac tried that independent thing.
Yeah.
And
it
didn't pan out. What was that bland third-person shooter? That
Fuse?
Yeah, I don't want to remember that fucking game.
Yeah. That's a shame. Which studio would you like to see gain control of its own destiny in this way, besides Bungie?
Oh, I forgot about Bungie.
Yeah.
Man. So, already acquired. But...
Well, maybe not acquired, but just the way that Platinum has been on its own, but now Platinum's like... Because Platinum's been making games for these big companies.
And come up with a dumb answer. Quantic Dream.
Interesting.
David Cage with no limit. Powers over 9,000.
I think that's when the universe would kind of go inside of itself, right? Like, that's it. That's the end of days
feed
at
them a
that
Snickers to save the world.
Yeah.
I really can't think of a studio off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know that I have an answer for this either. I was thinking about it. Like, is there another Platinum out there? And I don't know.
I feel like Respawn.
Yeah.
But they're already...
they're stuck.
That ship sailed.
How about Kojima Productions?
I mean... I feel like that's already...
Okay, well, what if I told you that Kojima Productions might be getting in bed with Konami? Matt, in our final news story for the week, is Silent Hill coming back? Are we going to find out about a Silent Hill game this week?
This week? Where are you getting this week?
Oh,
Did
buddy.
I miss something in the Slack?
Oh, buddy. Alrighty. So, we had some things happen this week. Specifically Friday. So, Kojima Productions on Twitter. You've heard of Kojima Productions?
No. Please tell me their game.
So, there was a tweet posted from Aki. Don't know who Aki is. Producer. Something at Koji Pro.
Mm-hmm.
The tweet says, "Sorry to be silent, everyone. I've been really busy lately. I think I can say more soon about what we are going to. Hashtag Kojima Productions." The picture is him holding a phone, looking into the camera. He's got a pencil in his hand, and he's writing something on a notepad. If you zoom in, the notepad...
Oh, don't zoom in.
He has written next week on the notepad.
Oh, yeah, I never zoomed in on that. I didn't remember that part. Okay.
Did you check out the pencil he's got in his hand?
No, I never zoomed in.
Do you have the picture in front of you?
I'm trying to pull it up.
I got you. Can you read the brand of the pencil? Maybe what's on the head of the pencil there.
Oh, one says pyramid.
Pyramid. All right. Well, hold on.
Well, one of the ancient Egyptians, as in Assassin's Creed Origins.
Exactly.
Or one monster from a former Silent Hill game
But
and franchise of movies.
I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, come on, isn't that a little bit of a stretch? Like, it just says pyramid. It's just a pencil he had on his desk, right? Well, what about the fact that Masahiro Ito, co-creator of Silent Hill, creator of Pyramid Head, tweeted Friday, Pyramid Head, rest in peace. Okay, well, hold on. Why is he tweeting that in the wake of this Koji Pro thing? What are you even talking about? But wait, Matt, one more. You ready? Back in 2017, Masahiro Ito said on Twitter, at ADSK4, if I should make a new Silent Hill game, I would not use Pyramid Head or kill him in its opening. And now, here we are, saying Pyramid Head, rest in peace. We had the Eurogame rumor about a month ago, or earlier this year, about Konami reportedly talking to companies about developing not one, but two Silent Hill games. One would be a new episodic Until Dawn style thing, and another one, the next one in the franchise. What do you think? Is it real? Is it Silent Hill?
All right, well, I kind of have to be careful here because I do have a prediction relating directly to this. About Kojima Productions cryptically teasing their next game, but at the Game Awards, not earlier. So the heart wants to follow the prediction, but I cannot believe that fucking Kojima and his team are going to be making a Silent Hill game. Like, that just it's fucked. It's fucked. That's the only. It's bonkers. It's almost. It could probably make a screenplay in a movie that's almost as good as Parasite, based off the events that have happened here.
Yeah, but I don't know. Are you intrigued by this? Like, is this something that you're like, okay, let's do this? Or
yeah, why not? This is the story itself.
Yeah,
is weird. Granted, I'll probably never play the game. Sadly, I'll watch someone else play it though. Probably. Yeah. But the story there.
Yeah, it's a weird.
How can we went from like a full 180 to 3 years ago, where Jeff Keighley's on a stage and read between the lines. He said "fuck Konami."
Yeah.
Everyone said "fuck Konami." Literally, Guillermo del Toro said "fuck Konami."
Yeah. And now.
Here we go, Kojima Productions.
It seems like you don't do what they did unless, right? Like, this is very much teasing Silent Hill. Like, is it? Do you think that we're reading into it a little much by looking into all this stuff?
I mean, possibly.
What else could it be?
I don't.
Right, like, that's the thing. It's like, why would you go to this level to tease this unless you just
Stranding 2, but it takes place in ancient Egypt? Like, I
don't know. So to kind of bring all this full circle, how is the Eurogamer report that we heard about different from a leak?
You see, and I think that's where the confusion comes in, right? Because that's what I was saying. Like, I think we need reports of stuff like that. Like, without any kind of leak, there's no news, and that's not fun. Like, part of it is the surprise and news. Like, I don't. Like, but there's a news story there. It's not just a leak. Like, oh, new Silent Hill's coming. I think the news there is, hey, look, there's this franchise that's been dormant. Didn't Eurogamer say something about Kojima Productions, or was it just the two IPs?
I don't know if Eurogamer did, but there definitely was a rumor that relations between Kojima and Konami had cooled, or the hostility between the two.
I think the news, but the actual news is like, hey, like, Konami is reviving this franchise, and you're gonna get two of them. But there's no details. Like, it's not a full-on leak of like, all right, well, this is the game, this is the name of it, this is the release date, this is the price, whatever.
Yeah,
it's gonna come with a vitality sensor made by Nintendo, so that way you can measure your pulse, and it's gonna be exclusive on this. Like, it's none of that.
So how about one more? Like, what about the fact that that Viking Assassin's Creed leaked? Like, what about that? Is that one where
isn't that expected though? Don't.
Yeah.
Isn't that part of the news cycle? Like early in the year that we figure out the next Assassin's Creed.
I
It's
know,
kind of
but,
expected at this
like,
point.
Is it better or worse that it is, or I don't know? Like, I don't know. Do you think that your excitement level? This is my final question of the week. Do you think your excitement level is varied when you hear something like a tweet string like this, where you can start to piece things together in this cryptic way and sort of see what they're saying without them saying it? Do you get excited about something like this over a straight up leak?
Yeah, because it's coming from the company's once again controlling the message for the reveal.
Yeah,
like it's coming from a blue check mark Kojima Productions Twitter account, right?
Yeah,
that's them. That's their PR team at work doing this correctly.
Yeah.
And I like the cryptic shit like this. I always liked how like Kojima did his shit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And even the big middle finger of Metal Gear Solid 2, like fucking bold. I would have never take your main character out of the game and not tell anyone.
Yeah.
Like that bold. And you go back to like I always remember one of my favorite reveals being that The Last of Us, the first one, where it started with like these tweets or those images of that bug that infects this plant or whatever, and you started to see that.
Yeah.
And then it popped up at the Game Awards that year, and then you slapped that goddamn Naughty Dog emblem in front of it. I was like, oh shit, that's a thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what else, like when you control the message like that, it works so much better, and the reveal is so good. And Spider-Man, right? Did we know it was Insomniac?
I don't remember anymore. I feel I want to say yes, but if I don't remember the timeline anymore. That's a tough one.
I can't remember if that was rumored or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's gonna do it for us for this week's show. Had a good show. Next week, 340. I think we're gonna be talking about Silent Hill next week. I'm hoping. It had me itching to maybe play that original one, like to start going through those, but that's easier said than done. What do you got for the week? Dark Souls.
I do want to finish, not for broadcast. If I remember, I want to touch
Underlords.
Yeah, that's it. The auto chess guy. I don't know. I need to do something. I'm getting a little crazy.
Yeah.
I just get so mad and like it's not good for my health.
It's just you're walking
just
around.
sit there fuming.
Yeah, that's. No, you should have fun. I don't know. I've had kind of the same thing, but I'm not trapped in one world. I'm just not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like I don't know which direction to go. At this point, it's just like waiting for March
20th.
20th. Like, give me something to do. But yeah. I don't know.
You got Sonic Forces.
Yeah, I am gonna fuck around with that this week. And honestly, I've never played Shadow of the Colossus, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I forgot.
I'm gonna do that one. I never did that PS3
I started
re-release.
Ico at one time when they first came out on Plus, and I didn't get into it.
In the early days of my trophy hunting, my friend Tyler and we went back and forth with chasing platinums. And we had like a platinums arms race, basically. And he did the platinums for Shadow and Ico, but they were hard. They were a pain in the ass.
I was going to say, I feel like that Shadow one's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think the Ico one was easy, but he like forgot to pick up a watermelon on a roof or something. Like it's just like the weird. You had to get so many fruits to feed to the companion character, and he forgot to get a watermelon. I remember that was like he was like fucking so mad. But the Shadow one, I feel like. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, that was I don't know if I'm gonna be chasing platinum, but I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, that
out.
second playthrough of Dark Souls, I'm gonna have to like follow a walkthrough verbatimly because my like kind of blind. I think it's messed up some NPC being in areas for covenants and stuff, and which is fine. Like I have to play through it and beat it anyway, so it's not the end of the world.
Well, if you like this episode, you can find it and the other episodes over on thefreecheese.com. You can send us an email, podcast@thefreecheese.com. I'm going to give you one more week for the pop socket. You want that Coca-Cola pop socket? I had hot dibs on it this week.
I had said no. I promised it to the listeners. So, listener, if you want it,
a hot dib.
You got to shoot me an email, podcast@thefreecheese.com. You got to ask a question for us to answer.
Literally
doesn't matter. You can ask us what's our favorite pop socket. Probably won't answer that. Probably you should probably ask a better question. But you could ask that if that's what you want to ask.
Sure.
And let us know you want the pop socket.
Maybe set up a bet.
Oh, I would love.
Bet board.
Yes, I'd love.
See if you can make a divide between us. I mean, there's plenty of divides, but can you make one we can bet on? What's your favorite soup?
None. Yeah. Easy answer. I think that's it. You can follow us on Twitter. The Free Cheese is at Some Free Cheese. The Free Cheese is at Some Free Cheese. Matt is at MattyIce131. I am at The Free Cheese. That is it. Enjoy your week. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. See you next time.